Hey everyone, so you might remember in our last video, we went over how we could have this problem right here where we are having a height and we used, in this case, a switch statement to solve it and explained that this was a really nice solution for me, but I didn't really explain exactly why. So one of the reasons I really love the switch statement is whenever you combine it with another concept in Java called enums, and that's what we're going to be learning about today. So what is an enum? An enum is basically an enumerated value. It basically means there's set possibilities and that enum can't possibly be anything other than those specific possibilities. So this case where we basically had our height be 3 or 4, where someone might accidentally pass in 3 or pass in 4 or something happens, they are impossible to happen with enums. You can't give it a height of 3. So I'm going to show you how to create an enum. So all you need to do is use this enum keyword, and then you give your enum a name. And enums are like classes. They also use Pascal case, and you can kind of think of it basically like a class. And then inside of your enum, you just write the list of all of the possibilities, and these are going to be using a new case format which with all caps. So say we have high, and then we have mid, and lastly we have low. These are all three possibilities for our height, and I just realized I misspelled this. So that's our height, and instead of having an int equal 4, we could actually create an instance of our height, so we're calling it a lowercase, so that signifies that this is an instance of our height, and we say equals, and we can say height dot high, just like that. So now, whenever we do this, they're not actually numbers. Instead, we can say case high, case mid, and case low. So this, you can already see now, has drastically improved the readability of our code, because instead of having those magic numbers where and magic number is basically where it's just a number but I don't know what it means. So instead of having that, we're literally saying just high, case mid, case low. And so this can make our code a lot more readable to our users. And of course, another thing we could do is create like a string. So we could go string um, uh, formatted height equals that, and then we could take in our thing, and then we could just go and change this height, formatted height equals high. We could of course do something like this. That's not really the part that I'm trying to go over, and obviously you'd want to account for all the solutions. That's not really what I'm trying to go over in this tutorial, and oh yeah, you'd have to print it at the end. But I do want to show you how basically using enums like this, you can account for every possibility, and just by looking at the enum, you're like, okay, these are all the possibilities, there's nothing else. And you could remove this default possibility, but there is a little issue with that. Basically, this enum can also be null. And this is something I don't like about in Java. I wish there wasn't a way for your enum to be null. And you might not know what null is. We'll discuss what null is later. But this possibility exists, and that basically might mess with your code. And that will cause some issues. So let's see what happens right now. So let's say we do it, and you could see it actually throws a null pointer exception. So this completely made an exception, even though I had a default case. So that's just something to watch out for, and there's not really a whole lot you could do with it, even if you have a default value. So our default value actually doesn't really serve a purpose here since we cover all of it. And in the next tutorial, I'm actually going to show you a way we can simplify this code even more.